Welcome to this Nexa video. Today we will introduce the links. We will show you how to add a link between objects and how to use them. In many cases, you need to work not just on a single item, but on a group of items that are logically related. For example, if you are asked to approve an engineering change request, you need access to all affected parts. Similarly, when you release a product configuration, you must release all of its components. To make such operations possible, Nexa lets you link items in the database. What is a link? A link is used to indicate that there is a relationship between two Nexa items. You can imagine it as an arrow connecting two items. The two ends of a link are denoted as head, from where the link begins, and tail, the end of a link. Link items are instances of general objects called link types. We will describe better this point later on. A set of links of the same link type builds a logical structure that is relevant for your company. One of the most prominent of such structures in a PLM is the Bill of Materials, or BOM. The importance of the links resides also in the fact that they make it very easy to navigate from one item to another one within a logical structure. It is probably better to describe how a link works through its usage. I open Nexa and I browse among its items. The Nexa web interface is divided into main areas. For example, the desktop contains a subset of frequently used items of the database. At the left, a user can select one of the Nexa items. The right-hand pane contains many tabs that provide additional information regarding the object that has been selected. Among these tabs, there are Details, Version, Links, Where used, Process, BOM, and Permissions. The Links tab shows a list of all the link types associated to the selected object. Each link type can have 0 or more link items. Notice that here you do not see the link type name, but rather one of its two labels, depending on whether the object is the head or the tail of the link. The reason is intuitive. Imagine that there is a link connecting a father and his child. From the child point of view, it is more intuitive to look for a relationship called child of. From the point of view of the father, the same link could be called, for example, children. As you see, there is one relation between father and child, but there are 2 points of view. For this reason, there are 2 labels, one for the head and one for the tail of the link. In practice, each link type has a name used by the administrators, while the normal users will always interact with the labels. I click on a BOM item called Chassis Support. Let me select one of the links for a better understanding. Close to CAD model, you can see a 1 in parentheses. This implies that there is one link item that connects the chassis support via the relationship named CAD model to another object. When I expand the entry, I can see another Nexa item with an icon resembling a document. This icon tells us that the item under consideration belongs to the CMS file class or one of its subclasses. This is because chassis support, notice that there is no extension, is a BOM item, or equivalently, it belongs to the CMS part class. An object of this class can be the head of a link directed to a CMS file item. From the point of view of a CMS part item, the link label is CAD model. This is because it helps us remembering that we are connecting an object of the BOM to a CAD tool object. Let's see what happens when I click on the chassis support.sldprt item in Nexa. That is the tail of the link that we have just seen. In this case, in the Links tab, the CAD model is no longer present. I can find instead the term part. This is the same relationship we just saw from the opposite point of view. It tells us that the CAD item that we just selected is a part of an assembly. Not surprisingly, when I expand this link, I get back to the CMS parts item I previously selected. Nexa distinguishes among hierarchical and non-hierarchical links. The idea is that in some cases there is a parent-child relationship among the items, while in other cases the link describes a relationship between objects that can be considered on equal footings. For example, the link among two different chapters of a document does not need to be hierarchical, since the chapters are at the same level within the document. This can also show that a single Nexa item might belong to two or more logical structures made of links. In the above example, the link between a CMS part item and a CMS file object is non-hierarchical. However, a CMS part belongs to a BOM, which is a typically hierarchical structure, where assemblies are conceived as higher-level groups of related parts. At the very left of the links list, you can see a small icon. There are 4 kinds of icons, 2 for hierarchical and 2 for the non-hierarchical links. They allow us to understand at a glance if the item under consideration is the head or the tail of the link. An arrow pointing to the right tells us that the item is the tail of a non-hierarchical link, while an arrow pointing down and right is associated to a tail item of a hierarchical link. When the arrows go in the opposite direction, from right to left, we are in presence of items that are the head of the link. As in the previous case, horizontal arrows are dedicated to non-hierarchical links. The objects are at the same level, while arrows up are used for hierarchical links, since they signal us that we are going to higher level. In the right-hand pane, there is another tab that is related to links. Intuitively, where used shows all the Nexa items that are heads of links pointing to the currently selected one. All these parents refer to different kinds of links. Each link item is an instance of a link type. For those who are familiar with object-oriented programming, a link type is equivalent to a class, and a link item is the equivalent of an instance of that class. The Nexa administrators can build and modify link types, while all the users with the right permissions can add links. I log into Nexa with an administrator account. I go to the Administration tab and select Link Types on the left. At this point, I press the Add button and this opens an Add Link Type window. The link type name is mandatory and is the term that we use to interact with the link type from an administrator point of view. I call this link type peer test, since I want to test a non-hierarchical link among BOM items. The description is optional, but it is always useful to add a comment for future reference regarding the reason for the link. I can add properties to the link by selecting a specific form. Forms are used to provide both the interface and the structure of database tables containing customizable information. Please refer to the tutorials on how to manage the forms in Nexa for further explanations on this subject. This box can be checked if we want the link to be hierarchical. The box below, instead, regards the fact that the link is release managed or not. Oftentimes, hierarchical links follow release management, while non-hierarchical do not. However, it is up to the administrator to decide this property of the link. Nexa items can change. For example, there can be different versions, revisions, changes regarding the metadata, etc. What happens to a link when the head or the tail change depends on the versioning behavior. In this case, we select None. Please refer to the Nexa guides on the details of the other modes. In this case, the link is carried forward independent of the modification of the items. When you place this kind of link between two items, it is carried on up to the latest version. Here on the left, we can find the classes that can be had for this link. I click on the plus sign and I select CMS part. On the right, I can define the tail of the link. Also in this case, I select CMS parts. At the bottom, I need to enter the labels for the user. Please remember that the label for the head should remind you of the relationship that connects the head to the tail. In this case, I enter tail peer. I could select a constraint for the tail item, but I leave it blank. I call the tail label head peer and I click on Save. This new link is now present in Nexa. I can see it here. At this point, we have a good understanding of the properties of the links. Let's see now how to connect two items of the DB with a link. I right-click on an item. This opens the context menu where I select Alter. A new window opens where I can see the details associated to the item, and I can modify some of them, depending on the permissions of my user. I go to the Links tab. This shows me all the link types where a CMS part item can be either the head or the tail. I right-click and select Add Peer Tail Link. This opens a new window where I can select the other item to be attached. I input part of the name of the object that I want to link so that it appears in a list. I select the desired item and I click on Add. As you can see, there is a link between the two objects now. We can check the link from the opposite side. I open the handpad file and I go to the Links tab. Among the possible links I see head peer with a 1 in parentheses. It means that there is a link connecting handpad. Notice that the icon is horizontal and pointing to the left. This means that it refers to the head of the link. We have just created the most basic structure made of just two Nexa items. As you can see, the link items allow us to navigate efficiently from one element to the other of the structure. Since we know how to build a link, it is also useful to see how to remove it. I select the bold item in the desktop and I right-click on it. I click on Alter. A new window opens and I go to the Links tab. I search the link that I'm interested in and I click on it. This shows the other side of the link. I right-click on it and select Link, Remove Link. The link item has been successfully removed. In summary, you now have a complete understanding of the importance of the links in Nexa. You are able to build new link types according to your needs. From these link types, you can create link items within Nexa items in order to form the logical structures that you need, and you can navigate through them. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications so that you won't miss all the upcoming Nexa videos with new tutorials and feature updates. Thanks for watching.